Well then, that's just rude. Everything is soaking wet. Good morning, guys. It's the 19th of May. June. It's June. Oh my god. 2021. I can't find somewhere dry to sit. Hang on a second. Whew. I've got a little planty plot place I can just pluck myself here a second. Ooh, we'll have a chat with you guys. Right, so we had a bit of rain. And one thing that I can't get my head around in this country is that you have 2 weeks of sunny weather, call it a heat wave. And then if it goes into week 3, it's a drought. Which to me is ridiculous. As someone who's lived in Australia and had to live through some of the most extreme of weather, where when I had my own kids, I had foster kids, I had my ex-husband and myself, we were allowed 10 litres of water per person per day until further notice. And that water had to be for drinking, cooking, cleaning, bathing. Everything that you would use water for. It's all we were allowed. And that went on for a good 12 months. Now when you've got kids under 5 and teenagers and an OCD husband, you know, it gets tricky. That's a drought. I think some of the language we use, or some of the language that is used over here, is like trying to make things sound worse than they are. It's almost going out of their way to be negative. 2 weeks of sun in June is not a heat wave, it's summer. Seriously, it's summer. It's not a heat wave. I know you guys think, oh, we're not used to these temperatures. Yeah, you are. They happen every year. It's called summer. Come on. Sort it out. Just because it doesn't rain for a couple of weeks doesn't mean you're in drought conditions. Trust me. Trust me. When it did actually rain, after that time that we had in Queensland, my kids we couldn't drink or bathe or use any of the water that was coming through the pipes because they'd chlorinated so much it was burning my children. They got 2nd degree burns over probably 60-70% of their bodies. It wasn't fit for drinking because they dumped so many chemicals in it to clean it that it was putting people in hospital. It was that bad. Honestly, it was that bad. We had to run our taps for several days to clear the pipes. Yeah, I couldn't even wash the clothes in it because even if you wash the clothes in it, the chemicals remained in the clothing from washing the clothes and was burning the skin of the kids. So everything had to be washed in rainwater. Everything. One thing they do have over there, and one thing that I've noticed over here, is everyone's very scared of using grey water or the washing up bowl water for doing your plants. Really? Why? I get that an overabundance of soap in the soil is not a great thing. Okay, it's not. But if you're using one of the things they used over in Australia to extra save water was a lot of the houses now are being built with grey water tanks. Now the grey water tank goes through the laundry because the laundry's separate. It's not in the kitchen, right? Because it shouldn't be in the kitchen. It causes mold and damp, just saying. But the water from the laundry, the water from the kitchen, the water from the bathroom, except for the toilet. Anywhere there's a tap in the house, that water is then sent to the grey water tank, which you can put a interchangeable filtration unit on that's cleanable and what have you, and use that to water your gardens. Okay, so that's another thing, which is very difficult to do here. Obviously we can't do it because, you know, we don't own the place. We can't talk to the landlord because they won't be happy about doing it. They won't even let us garden, really. I think if our estate manager came up and saw what we'd been doing here, she'd hit the roof. But yeah, and I'm waiting for the day when she does. But you know, hey, is this my face buffered? No, it's really not. So yeah, there's lots of ways that you can combat like drought conditions. Okay, but using it was always a normal thing to use the water from the washing up bowl in the sink to water your plants. It was always normal. We used to have water catchment buckets in the showers from the kids, which caught. I had enough to cover my sink, well, my shower. They're a square-shaped bucket, and I had 4 of them. They were in my shower. The kids had to stand in between 2 of them, have the shower in those. They caught 100% of the water, as close as damn it, right? And that water was used to water my plants. Never had an issue. The only thing I will say is this: if you're using, like I said, an overabundance of soapy water is not great. However, it's still water and it's better than nothing. So if you're living in an urban setting and that's all you got, you got to use what you got, right? I wouldn't water the same things twice with it, though. I go around different plants, use a little bit, water it down even if you can. If you can water it down, water it down. Try and use things that are more natural as far as washing liquid and stuff like that, or soaps, you know, bit more organic, bit less chemical based. That always helps. The one thing I will say is this: if you're using vinegar in mop buckets, do not put that on your plants. Don't. If you've got an issue with weeds around the concrete, put it on them. You've got to remember that vinegar kills weeds. It's used as a weed killer. So weeds are only plants that are in a place that you don't want them. Okay, so as long as you remember that, you should be all right. I think one of the things that I'm looking to do is when we move, I'm going to be making a Cuban mop. That is a T-shaped stick that you can just wrap a cloth around, a wet damp cloth around, to clean the floors with. Now, it's a traditional item that's been used in Cuba and all sorts of places in South America. I remember my mum having one, and she was Welsh, so you know, it's all kinds of whatever, but it's a really good way to save water. You don't have to have the huge mop buckets that you have over here for your big mops, and you clean the floor. You still clean the floor, but you use the minimal amount of water, which is what you want to do. So yeah, there's lots of ways of doing it. Look, just watch the language you're using. Hey, you're not in a drought. Trust me, you are not in a drought. If you've only had lack of water for 3 or 4 weeks, you're not in a drought yet. You're really, really not. There are lots of things that you can do to save on water. Trust me, I've done all of them. So, you know, at one time or another. And, you know, just look at things in a more positive light. It's not a heat wave, it's summer, guys. It's summer. I love you. I love you guys heaps. You know I do. At the end of the day, you go do you. I'll go do me. I gotta catch up from yesterday because every time I came out here, yesterday, it started spitting rain. So I couldn't bring the camera out. And every time I went in, it stopped. So I was like, there was some rude words said yesterday, I can tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I love you guys heaps. Bye bye.